Hello, you guys. This is Gabrielle. Welcome to a brand new episode of Hot Topics. So, if you are new to the show, let me tell you what this show is about. So, this is the show where we like to talk that real talk. We like to talk about those important nitty gritty things, but we like to talk about it in certain points of view, in certain scopes. We like to talk about it in terms of mental health, physical health, education, employment, social services. But wherever we talk about it, we like to get all hot and bothered, or hot and steamy, to be on the safe side. So this is the show where we like to have an open dialogue about things that we knew about or we never really thought about, right? So this is the show where it's all about open dialogue here. And I am excited because this is a rare thing. This is a first timer this episode. Well, it's not a first time because we're actually continuing a topic, but we're actually rebroadcasting a topic in a way. Um, so let me tell you what I'm talking about. And I know I look all discombobulated right now, but we're just gonna power on forward. So we are bringing back a topic. We are bringing back a guest. I am excited. The guest is coming back to the hot seat, and we are bringing back a discussion, so to speak. So what am I talking about? Well, let me tell you what I'm talking about. So let's start with the name of the episode. What is the name of the episode? Well, the name of the episode is Simple Natural Health Solutions Part 2B. Right? So there's a Part 2 in our video library, but we had some technical issues before. So, our guest was gracious enough to come back and have that discussion again. So it is Part 2B. I'm leaving up Part 2. So listen, we're just going to go forward, all about going forward. So, Simple Natural Health Solutions Part 2B. So, that is our topic for today, and we are bringing it back. And I have a guest with me who is going to help me with that discussion. And today is a unique situation. So, I'm just going to go ahead and bring her to the stage right now.
Hi.
Hi, Livia. How are you doing today?
How are you?
Good, good. Thank you for coming back. I truly appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me again.
Awesome. All right, so I am just gonna go ahead. If you could start off with telling the audience about yourself.
Yeah, for sure. So my name's Livia. I am a wife and a mother of 5 amazing kids, and my camera goes different angles depending on how the screen's looking. So I'll move to the middle again. So I'm a wife, mother of 5 kids. I've been using essential oils for my healthcare, for the majority of my healthcare, for the last 11 years. And it's absolutely changed my world. It was amazing to know that I have the ability to take care of my family, and 85 to 90% of anything that I need, it's at my fingertips. Like right now, we can get through stuff so fast. We're not scared of the germs and whatever's going on in the world at all. I just know that everything's fine. I have what I need to take care of and I have what I need to take care of my family. So I'm also a soul confidence creation coach. So I help people to align their heart and their mind and their spirit all together. And so that you're going forward doing intentional actions to create the life that you want and using your divine gifts that way. And essential oils is just one of those wonderful things that I get to use to help people. Because when you're healthy, it's way easier to be happy. And when you're healthy and you're happy, then your home is a happy, healthy place, and your family can thrive, and you can thrive in doing whatever it is that you're called to do, as well as have that peace in your heart, knowing that you have the resources at your fingertips. Does that work? Good intro.
Yes, it does. Thank you so much for that. All right, so I know we talked about it last time, but I'm just gonna bring it back up again. So, could you tell us what got you into essential oils? Tell us your origin story.
Okay, I'd happy to. And really quick disclaimer here. I just go off the cuff. It's totally authentic. I don't have like a script or notes. So if you want to deal with the tech difficulties, go back and watch number 2, because you're probably going to get something different than you get today, because I have no clue what we're going to say. It's just going to come out as it comes, and trust that whoever gets it and watches it is meant to hear this. So if you hear that and you're like, I need to listen to episode 2, part 2, go back and do that, because something there is for you if you got that inkling. So origin story. I started in 2011. I was pregnant with child number 5, and we were moving, and I was like packing up my house in the middle of stuff, and I had this nasty head cold, and I had a friend who came over to my house, and she said she could tell like I was kind of in a bad state. You know, I've got 4 little kids, pregnant with the 5th one, just tired. I'm sure I looked horrible because I wasn't feeling well, trying to pack up my house. And she came. Oh, I'm going to show you actually, because I have one right here. One second. I'm all about visual aids and props and cool stuff. So she had one of these nifty little things on her keyring. So she had this little thing, and she opens it up, and she's like, oh, here, I have something for you. And she pulls out one of these tiny little bottles, and she's like, okay. Oh, and I had tendonitis in my wrists, and it was so bad, hurt like crazy, and I couldn't hardly carry my child. And when I went to the doctor, they just said, oh, so I had a tendon that was right here, and it would snap over this bone. When I twisted my wrist, it would snap. Well, it wouldn't snap, like it wouldn't break, but it would go over the bone, and I could twist, and you could like literally see it jumping over that bone. And the doctor told me, sorry, that's something you can't fix. Eventually it's just going to snap, and you're going to have surgery. So they sent me to a physical therapist, and they had me doing stuff like this with my hands, like try to strengthen your wrist, right? And they're like, do this, 5 to 6 times a day, and don't lift anything. And I'm like, I'm a mom with 4 little kids. You're telling me not to lift anything. Like, that's not really possible. And they said, this is what it was. And I remember in that moment, this is a little mindset tip from the coaching side of it that I didn't realize I did at the moment because I didn't understand it. But when I walked out of that office, I consciously said, that's your opinion. I choose not to believe that. So in my brain, I subconsciously, so many times we think, oh, this person has authority, so I'm going to believe everything that they say. And then that sabotages our results and what we do. So in that moment, I said, that's great. I don't believe that. So I chose to reject that idea that my body was not able to heal and that I was going to have surgery. So I do believe that that was an important part of it as well. But essential oils were also a key. So she put something on my wrist and it helped. And she gave me something for my sinuses, and I just put it right here. And I could feel like I was feeling better. And I was like, that was amazing. What did you just give me? Like, what was that? Because I had no previous experience with essential oils. I didn't even really know that they existed. It wasn't something that was like on my radar. I didn't grow up with it like a lot of people do. And I was just like, okay, what did you do? Whatever it was, it worked. Tell me more. And she said, it's an essential oil. They're really cool. doTERRA is the best. And if you have any, I have this really cool book if you want it. And I was like, okay. And so the next day I was like, okay, whatever she did, I just had this little, like in the back of my self, on the back of my soul, I felt the call to be like, I need to look into this. I felt that urge, that push, how you get those things and you're just like, I'm supposed to do this. And I know that I'm supposed to, but like logically you're like, I don't know. I just feel drawn to this. I could have felt drawn to many other things over my life, but this one I did. I felt that draw. And so I called her back and I says, okay, what is going on? What is this? Tell me more. I want to see your book. And she's like, oh, the book's whatever price it was at that point. It was a lot cheaper than they are now because, inflation. But so I said, yes, I want the book and I want one for my mom because I just knew my mom would love this too. So I bought the book from her. She put the price list in it. And I remember taking it back and I looked at it and I was like, we are on Medicaid. We are on food stamps. Like, I'm trying to take care of all these little kids. I feel like we're financially drowning. And now I have this issue with my wrist. I know I need to heal it because I need to be able to take care of my kids. But it was like paying an extra $10 for something felt like a lot at that moment in time. And I was like, okay, I can't do this. And I ended up going to the health food store. And when I look back at it now, it seems absolutely ridiculous because the stuff I used was like $20. And the health food store, I think it was like $6. So I went and got it from the health food store. It was lemongrass is what I used and learned. So I would use it on my wrist, but on the back of the bottle, it says, be very careful. Don't ingest it, poison control, all the things that most medicines will say on the back of it. And I was like, okay, so I would use it for me, but I'm like, it cleared my sinuses. My kid's not feeling great. I could use this on my kid, but I can't get my 2-year-old to tell me what's going on in his body. So I'm scared to like try something when I haven't experienced it myself on my child. And so it actually all hit the point. I had gone to Target to get like cold medicine, Tylenol, something like that, for one of my kids because they weren't feeling well. And I was like, oh, we're out. So I went in there to get it. And they had these little tent cards like this up all over the shelf. And it was totally wiped out, the entire children's medicine section, all the Tylenol, all the ibuprofen. And it said, these have all been recalled. Do not give them to your kids. And it was like the heavens opened and I had this divine awareness moment of, if I had showed up yesterday, or if I bought it yesterday before they cleaned off the shelf and I wasn't here today to see the sign, how would I have known that this was a recall, that I wasn't supposed to give this to my kid? And I was like, it like hit me like, okay, I want to know what I'm putting in my body. I want to know what I'm putting in my kid's body. I want to know why I'm doing it. I want to know the effect that it's having. I want to know that it's not harming them in any way, but I'm giving them something that's good, that's going to help their body to thrive and not knock out their immune system or their good bacteria while they are trying to heal from some threat that has come in bacterially or virally. And so that was kind of this wake up moment for me. And I'm like, hey, made a decision. And that's important. Mindset wise, when you make a firm decision, things conspire to help you to be able to receive what it is that you need to go forward. Okay. So in that moment, I made a firm decision. When the doctor said that, I made that firm decision. So we're kind of adding mindset with oils here for a minute. This is totally different than what we talked about last time. But when you make a firm decision, then things work out to help you, as long as you hold that belief and you don't doubt. This is a side note. If you're watching this live, go to gifts.learnlivefly.com. There's a different gift link she's going to share with you later. But if you go there today, there's actually a webinar tonight about accomplishing impossible things. So if you want to go and you're watching it live, do that. If not, whatever new gift will be up when you watch it, because I'll change that page. Anyways, so I made that decision that I'm going to choose to take care of my family naturally. I got home. I called my friend. I said, "Okay, tell me what's the difference. I got this from the health food store. I don't really feel great about like giving it to my kids. I was kind of using it on me because I felt like it was my only choice. I know what you gave me worked really, really well. And I'm seeing this book and it feels overwhelming because it's fat. And like, tell me what's the difference. Why do I want a doTERRA oil instead of I want the oil that comes from the health food store?" And she was like, "Oh, well, I use them for me. I don't really sell them. I don't share a lot about it, but I know the lady who helped me get started and she'll help you too." So she gave me her phone number and I called her. I'm like, "Okay, tell me the difference. What's going on? Like, I want to know why doTERRA is better." And she explained to me that doTERRA actually sources their oils from all around the world. They do tons of research and testing on all the oils to make sure they are the purest, most potent and powerful and effective for your body than any other oils on the planet. And 98% or something, 90 something percent of all the oils that doTERRA has to this day are exclusive to doTERRA. So anybody else who says, "I've got the same oils as doTERRA," doesn't, because they can't get them, because doTERRA partners with the farmers who grow the oils and they cultivate them in a way where they're not covered in pesticides and they're harvested at the right time of year with the right amount of rainfall and all the things, so that the chemicals in that oil will interact with your body in a way that your body will receive it and it will create the greatest possible health benefit to you. That's the main difference. Sorry, do you want me to pause and you could talk? I kind of like got on my
No. So you're bringing up interesting points here. So from what I'm gathering, it sounds like you were, it started off with your doctor telling you, "Hey, there's no treatment for you," and you're saying, "No, I want a second opinion. I'm not going to take that." And it's like you're down and out to get all dramatic and romantic, and then your neighbor stepped in and say, "Hey, there's an alternate treatment that you could try." So it sounds like your traditional doctor told you, there's no way for you, and then your neighbor just said, "Hey, no, there is another way."
Yeah. She actually didn't really know what was going on with my wrist. So it was kind of cool that she was just like, I said, hey, this is bugging me. So she didn't know this whole, I don't even know if she knows this whole story to this day, because that was kind of the end. And then the other lady just helped me. But it was another decision moment. So we made that decision that I'm going to do this and I want to take care of my family this way. And I basically just said a prayer and I said, okay, God, I want to do this. I don't see how. Like, it doesn't make sense on paper financially, but I find that when we are firm in our commitment and what we're doing, then the way shows up. So like, hey, what can I do? Think about it. Inspired idea comes. I go through my house and I sell everything that I can find. And I'm like, hey, we don't need this. We don't need this. I listed them all on KSL, which we're in Utah. So that's like a classified Craigslist type of a thing where people can just buy used stuff from other people, like online yard sale kind of thing. Like I think got lots of those on Facebook now. But so I sold as much stuff as I could, came up with, I think it was $175 at that point for my very first kit, came with 10 different oils, which the kits now are even better though. So if you guys are like, hey, this sounds cool, let's talk and I'll get you one even cooler and lots more free stuff because it's so good what they have now. So I came up with the money and I ordered my kit and then I ended up with a head cold. So this was, a couple months later. And we used to cycle through the sickness all the time. We'd be like 6 for 3 weeks. It cycles through everybody. And then we'd be better for like a week and somebody else would get it and we'd cycle again. Because that's what happens when you have lots of kids and lots of germs going around. And we have not done that in the last 10 years. And it's so nice. It's like it does not, health problems do not commandeer my life anymore. And I love that. And so in that moment, I got the money, got my kit. I ended up with a head cold and my 2-year-old was kind of sick. I was like, oh, I could just, muscle through it, wait for 4 days until my kit comes or whatever. But my 2-year-old was kind of sick. And I was like, oh, I really just wish I had it now. So I called this lady back and I said, okay, do you happen to have one of these on hand? And you can just like, give me yours and then I'll give you mine when it comes in the mail. And she said, yeah. So I drove down 20 minutes, met her in this grocery store parking lot. I remember exactly where we were sitting. And she pulled out this lozenge. I think I have one right here, actually. I'll show you what they look like. The packaging's a little bit cooler than they used to be. Okay. The other one is going to be orange, but it's just a little lozenge like this. This one's Breathe. And the other one was On Guard. So she gave me one of those. And she said, try this and it'll help. Because it's immune boosting, antibacterial, antiviral, essential oil infused. So I put it in my mouth. So I got one and I'm like, oh, he's sick too. Can he have one? And she's like, oh yeah, that would be fine. So I gave him his, unwrapped it, gave it to him. And then I unwrapped mine and put mine in my mouth. And I was like, oh, this is kind of strong. I'm like, it's a little bit like cinnamony. It tastes like a little spicy. And it was only because I wasn't acclimated yet. So now I eat them all the time and I love them. But I was like, oh, it's a lot because I wasn't expecting it. I didn't know what it was. And then I was like, hey, give me yours back. It's probably too strong for you. And he's like, no, I'm keeping it. No, I'm keeping it. And he would not give it back. And to this day, he is 12 now and he loves them. And he eats them all the time. And he is like my spicy kid. So I'm grateful that he was good. But it helped. And it cleared my sinuses in like 30 seconds. And I was like, I'm in. Like, I'd never gone to a class. I didn't have any education and resource really. She did teach classes. She ended up coming later and we would teach classes together. But so I was kind of the anomaly because most people will find out about an oil. They'll try it. Then they'll come to a class and we'll teach them about it. And then they'll get their kit and we'll walk them through step by step. This is how you use what you have. And then you kind of grow your collection from there, 1 or 2 at a time while you're, figuring out what you need, and you get the reference books. So it's really easy and you're not stressed out about how do I do this because you have the resources available. And it's been an amazing journey. And I love watching people find solutions. I remember being in a class one day, probably 10 years ago, and maybe 9, a lot of years ago. And there was this lady in the class. And when it was over, we were just talking and she said, I had a condition years and years ago, and it created a side effect. So then they medicated me for the side effect of the condition. She said, the original condition is gone, and I'm still taking the meds for the side effect 20 years later. And I was like, wow, like, I don't want to be like that when I'm 70. I don't want to have to take this many pills to deal with anything that's going on in my body. So I found that as I use essential oils, then it opened my mind to more of the mindset and the coaching and things like that, to learn that if we can take our mind and we can process what's going on in our thoughts, we can process what's going on in our emotions, we can support our body and our cells with essential oils and natural products that they have what they need. If we can create our cleaners or buy the non-toxic ones. doTERRA also has all that, the non-toxic skincare and house care and cleaning products and all of that. And if we can do that, we can decrease our toxic load, we can take care of our mind, we can take care of our emotions, we can fortify our body and our cells to handle all the threats that are around us all the time, then we can live a happy, healthy life. And we can have our mind clear so that we can hear the inspiration that comes. We can make proper decisions and find solutions to our problems. We can move forward in life in the happy, healthiest, most joyful and peaceful, graceful way we can, where whatever's going on in the chaos of the world, which we have a lot of right now, it doesn't have to get in me. It doesn't have to affect me because I've done what I can to fortify me. So that's the core of it.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So essentially what you're doing is, so would you consider essential oils like holistic medicine?
Yeah. And actually, you when you mentioned in the intro about this being hot topics that are hot and steamy, I'm like, I'm not really a contentious person. Like, I don't need to have anything hot and crazy. But then I was like, but technically it is. It's kind of this, ooh, people think it's alternative medicine, but it's not really alternative medicine. It is the original medicine. It's what God put on the earth to care for people. Everything that we need was created in plants. Every medicine that we have started out from a plant where they said, hey, this part of this plant, oh, lavender helps calm the body. It helps with sleep. So they look at lavender and they see the little graph that shows on the chemical chart. You know, this is what's in it. Oh, this is the most of this. So we're going to take this chemical that comes in lavender. We're going to synthesize it in a lab. We're going to mass produce it, put it in this pill, and you're going to be able to take this to help you sleep. But what happens is they don't take into accountability the complex nature of an essential oil, the complex nature of our bodies, and that all of these little bits together work together to create something beautiful, and that your body recognizes as a natural substance so that it can work the most effectively way possible. Instead, they just take this one little bit and say, this will help. But then your body sees it as, well, that kind of helps, but it doesn't have all this stuff that makes it balance out and metabolize right. And so then you get a side effect from it, and then you go get another medicine for the side effect. So you just got to choose. Are you going to use the medicine that's going to mask the symptom and then cycle that way, mask the symptom? If you feel yucky, take it again. Feel yucky, take it again. And you just do that. Or are you going to choose natural medicine, which is what nature is designed to support us and help us to thrive? And then we say, okay, this is what's going on. What's the root of that? Oh, wait, this is a bacterial thing. I'm going to use an oil that's bacterial. And if I use that oil that's bacterial, it's actually going to go into my cells and into the root of what's causing that bacterial infection, knock it out, and then it's not going to come back. And I'm not going to have to cycle through it. And it's just a beautiful process.
Yeah. And, you know, what you're saying is true, you know, where there are, I mean, there's times where I would prefer to use more holistic methods as opposed to the traditional methods. And I'm even when it comes to medication, I do have my paranoias about it as well. So I mean, whatever you got to say, don't hold back, girl. You know, but so are you essentially, so let me just go back to you then. Do you still go see your regular doctor? Have you forsaken all medical professionals?
Yeah. Well, let me say that because there's probably people out there that are like, oh, but you can't just say it all works. It works for everything. And I can't claim that it's going to heal absolutely everything you have. But my experience has been that I can count on my fingers the amount of times I have been to the doctor in the last decade. Probably for my entire family of 7. Okay, minus my husband. He likes his doctors. He goes to the doctors. But the kids and I, on my fingers, how many times we've been to the doctor, which is fabulous. I went, obviously, for childbirth when I had my baby. But even in that, I had my first 3 babies I had with epidurals. My last 2, I did natural. The fourth one, so fourth child, the last 2, the first of the last 2, I knew about acupressure. So I learned about acupressure and I used that to decrease the pain, did it naturally. It was beautiful. He was my largest baby. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was so good. I wish I'd done that with the last 3. My last one, I had found essential oils while I was pregnant with him. And so when I had him, I had essential oils and I had acupressure. So the 2 of those together, I diffused it in the room. I put the stuff on to help me be calm, to help my brain clear, all the different things. And I was literally laughing and just acting like this normally until 20 minutes before he was born. And my husband looked at me and he said, will you act like you're having a baby? I'm like, if I'm feeling fabulous, I'm not going to tell myself I need to feel horrible. So part of me kind of has, my youngest is now 10. And part of me is kind of like, I kind of want to have another baby just because with everything I've learned now, like how joyful the entire 9 months would be because I know what I know that I didn't know a decade ago. So I find it interesting.
Awesome. And a thought just came to me, like even for like colds, you know, we take we ingest a lot of citrus. Like even when like I have when I have my colds, you know, I take, you know, oranges, grapefruits, you know, a lot of citrusy fruits, things like that. So get that vitamin C up, right? So that helps boost the immune system, right? So there are natural remedies, and food is medicine. So just wanted to share that quick little thought. All right, so can we do you mind breaking down the types of oils that are out there? And, I mean, I know there's like a bazillion, but
Yeah.
even if like a few, you know, what types of oils that are out there and what can we use them for?
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so I will just show you what's in my little kit here. This is my little class kit. That's like a basic intro. So I will just pull them out one at a time and show you what they're for. These are super cool little books that you can get, and they just walk through what's going on. So I will look this up. I'm like, oh, I have.
Well, do you mind? So we have, don't forget our listeners. So just describe what you're holding up.
Yes. Okay. So this is a tiny little book. It's an A to Z guide. There's actually a mini digital version that's a little less intense because there's a lot of little words in there. But if you go to the link, can you put the link up right now so they can see it?
Which one? The gift link?
Your gift link. Yeah. So if you go to that link at the bottom, the gift link, you can actually download a mini version of a booklet similar to this, and it will have little outline information. This is kind of what an essential oil is. This is how it works. And here's some different ideas of what you can use for different things. And then just know, like, we have much larger books that's basically like your encyclopedia of oils, and it will go through all of the different chemical constituents. If you're a sciencey person and you're like, I need to know all the science behind it. Or if you're like, oh, okay, I need to use this for animals. I could use any of these. I need alertness. Okay, I'm going to use peppermint or ylang-ylang, lemon, basil, or rosemary. Okay, so this says if I have allergies, I could use melaleuca, lavender, lemon, peppermint. And it shows them, and they're all color coded. So you can see, like, these are the most popular ones that work the best. And if you think about it, like, you go to a doctor and they're practicing medicine, right? They're practicing. They're saying, okay, this is what I think might work for you. If this medicine doesn't work, you come back and try this medicine. And then you come back and you try this one until we find the one that works best with your body chemistry. So essential oils kind of are the same, that all of our bodies are different. The way that we eat is different. The way that we live is different. All of our past history is different. So it might be that for me, if I have a pain in my head, that I would use peppermint, or I would use past tense, and I would just rub it in right here. I rub it behind the back of my neck right here, and then I would just inhale it, and then it would help relieve that tension. Also, side note, just in case you're curious, this is the acupressure point for head tension. So if you are ever having, and right here too, actually. So if you think about, like, naturally, if we're frustrated and we're like, have that tension in our head, whether we have too many ideas or it's a pain from whatever's going on, right? We naturally go, oh, it hurts, right? This is like the natural, what your body does, because your body knows that it's trying to give you relief. So you can push right here and you can push right here. And then if you have an essential oil, it just helps boost it even faster. Okay?
So I'm just going to interject. So you're squeezing in between.
Yep. So in the little fleshy part right here.
So just in between your index and your
Index on the, oh yeah, audio.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yes, audio, please.
I was saying earlier about the little booklet. Okay, so the gift link for those of you on audio, go to gifts.learnlivefly.com/EO for essential oils. And that's learn, live, fly. So learn is learning the things you don't know already. So right now we're learning, right? So if you chose to adopt essential oils into your world, then you would be living it. You would take the knowledge that you got, you would be living it. And when you apply that, you can fly, FLY, which stands for feel like you. And I feel that that is when you're like the true version of you, without all the shame and the guilt and the cultural everything, but the divine you that you came to earth as, in the purity of truth. So when you are that version of you, then everything like goes into alignment and your life gets super happy and joyful and all the good stuff. So learnlivefly.com or gifts.learnlivefly.com/EO for essential oils. That will give you all your gifts if you're listening on audio. Okay. So this is an On Guard sanitizing mist. So you can use this instead of traditional sanitizer there. And I actually make my own. So this is the one doTERRA makes, and it works really well if you want to just keep it in your purse. I make my own simply just with some distilled water and On Guard essential oil, because I like that then I can spray it in my throat. So I will spray it on my hands, spray it on the grocery carts, spray it on your purse, spray it on your cell phone, spray it in your throat, and it will knock out any tickles in your throat, and it cleans out any germs, anything like that. So just a little spray bottle. And if you go to just learnlivefly.com, click on the blog tab, there's some different recipes and things, and I'm going to be adding more in there as well of how I use my essential oils. This one is fractionated coconut oil. So this is our carrier oil. And if you think about coconut oil that is in your kitchen, right? If it gets cold, it gets hard. So with fractionated coconut oil means that it was spun out. So all the fat is spun out of the oil, so it stays liquid. It's not going to go solid, so it will glide smoothly over your skin. So let's say you had hurt your arm, you got road rash or something, and it was like all up the side of your arm and it hurt really bad, right? So I would take some coconut oil and I'd put it in my hand, add a couple drops of lavender, a couple drops of melaleuca. Lavender is calming and really good for all things skin. Melaleuca is antibacterial, antiviral, and good for skin as well. So I would take that and I'd rub it all over that arm with the fractionated coconut oil. Because there's not fat in it, the coconut oil will absorb really quickly and leave you not greasy, which is super cool. I love that. Okay, next one. This one is Balance. I think it smells like a 1980s scratch and sniff sticker. Not everybody agrees with me, but I think that it does. It's very grounding. And so if you find like, oh, I'm swirling, there's just so much going on, I need to feel like I am present where I'm at. Balance is really great for that. And it actually helps oxygenate the blood. If you search on YouTube for Dr. Hill Balance Study or something like that, Dr. Hill Blood, something like that. He's one of the top medical officer at doTERRA and one of the founders. And he was traveling, eating all the yucky foods that you get at the hotels and the airports. You know, when you're traveling, you're not necessarily always eating the best. So he was been doing that, and they went in and they drew his blood and they showed his, like you could, if you're on audio, you can try to imagine two hands. Okay. These are like my blood cells and they're kind of stuck together. Okay. And all his blood cells were like clumped all together like this. They put Balance on his feet, waited 30 seconds and did another blood draw, and all of his cells were flowing freely. And when your cells are not stuck together, they're flowing freely. So the oxygen can get around them and absorb into the cells, which helps every aspect of your body work better. Because if your blood is carrying oxygen through your veins to every single part of you is going to work better, which is super cool. Okay. Next one up, this one's peppermint. We talked a little bit about that. That's good for head tension. It's also good for cooling. So if you happen to be a gardener and you like to be outside, you can mix it with some distilled water in a spray bottle, spray it on the back of your neck. If you work out and do yard care or anything where you're outside, sports events, anything where you get really hot and you want to cool yourself down, you can mix that with distilled water and spritz it on your neck, spritz it on your legs, and it will just bring a level of coolness and light and inspiration to the body, which is amazing. I love it. Okay, next one up. This one is called Wild Orange. I love this one. It is like joy in a bottle. You know that smell like when you first cut into an orange and it's like the perfect sweetness of awesome and you're like, oh, I love this. that's what it smells like. It's like fresh orange. And when you're talking earlier about the citruses, a thought came that I should share, that the citrus oils actually come from the skin, the rind of the oil, and they are cold pressed out. That's how they get the essential oils. And so it's different than what you're going to get from a juice, and the antiviral properties of it are actually much higher. So when you use the essential oils, then you're going to get a greater benefit faster. Okay, and then this one is On Guard. This is our immune blend, which is one I believe every home should have. For me, it's every home, every room, every purse that I own has On Guard in it because we use it all the time. I can make all my cleaners out of On Guard for my home. They actually have an entire cleaning line, so you can just buy it, add like a tablespoon, add some water, and clean your whole house with it. And it knocks out bacteria, viruses. I believe it's antifungal as well. That's how it's Melaleuca. So there's just so many. And then here's this cute little one. These are this for those of you on audio. This is a stand that has 6 little roller bottles in it. And these are the emotional oils, because essential oils don't just help with your physical body, but they help with your emotions. So if you think of like, oh, if you had a grandma who you loved lavender something and you would always remember her, like smells are attached to memories, and they're also attached. So if you touch on your forehead, right between your eyes, kind of up a little bit, right behind your finger is actually your olfactory. And that is your smell center. And it actually connects right to your limbic brain, which tells you to go into fight or flight. So if something happens, okay, here's a story for you. So I have a son, he's now 16. When he was 9, we went to visit a friend. And their dog had just had puppies, and he ran down the stairs to visit this friend. We are very unfamiliar with dogs at this point and didn't understand anything about this, but the mom dog thought this, threat. So the mom dog went into fight or flight, and she jumped at my son and bit him in the face. So we just barely walked in the door like 5 seconds before, and now my son has been bit in the face by a dog. It was right up by his eye and then down in the side of his cheek. And it was bleeding, obviously. And he came upstairs, and it was sad. Like, you don't want your kid to get bit by a dog. But it was the coolest experience for me to know that I had been using essential oils for 3 or 4 years at that point. I had that little carabiner on my purse that had exactly what I needed. I was completely calm. I didn't freak out. I didn't yell at my friend or the dog or the kid or anybody else. I was like, we're good. Come on over here. So I took some balance for grounding, and I put it behind his ears. I put it on the back of his neck, put it by his nose so that he could smell that, and it would help to calm his nervous system, because it would go to the limbic, or to the olfactory and into the limbic system, tell his brain to chill out. It's going to be okay. So he's not creating a trauma that's then going to bother him for the next 20 years because we process the emotion in the moment. I had helichrysum in there, which I put on his face, which stops the bleeding in about 30 seconds. And then we put a thing on it, and I drove him down the road to the doctor where he was able to get his stitches. So as you were talking earlier, I got side railed, didn't I, about the doctor thing and about if that we do believe that doctors are still good. We love them and we appreciate their service in all that we do. But I believe that we are here to care for ourselves as much as humanly possible. And then if we have a broken bone that needs to be set, or a dog bite in our face and we need stitches, whatever that is, we have the resources available to go there. But do I think that every time we have an itchy throat or a headache or whatever's going on, that we need to rush down to the doctor, wait in line for 30 minutes to 45 minutes, go pay your $20, $30, $40 copay, then go get an antibiotic that's going to cost you another $10 to $20, $30, depending on your insurance. Then go home and take that for 2 weeks and then have to buy a probiotic to rebuild up your body at the end. I don't think that's necessarily the best way to go about it. Everyone has their agency, and we love you whatever you choose. But I'm here to say that there is another way, and there's a way that you can do it, and you can feel confident in what you have, and that you have it in your home, that you have it in your fingertips. Sometimes in my classes years ago, I used to talk about, like the emergency preparedness side of it. We want to have a little bit of extra food in our house. We want to make sure we have extra clothes, that if there was ever an emergency, we're lucky that in America, we don't live in a place where we get bombed all the time or end up as refugees or whatever. But what if you lost your job? Or what if there was an earthquake? What if there was a tornado, whatever, and you're stuck in your house? You're not going to be able to get to the doctor. You're not going to be able to get to the hospital. And chances are, if you have like, oh, I'm having this sinus thing, or the pollen in the air is bothering me and it's causing a problem, making you not be able to function as well in your life, but this tragedy is going on, all the medical personnel are going to be over there taking care of the people who have their legs dislocated, or who are like bleeding out of their head, or whatever. They're going to be taking care of the people with the highest need. And if you have the ability to take care of yourself with all the little minor things that happen in life that just make it so we can't function well, or our brain won't think straight, or we're hyperventilating because, oh my gosh, I was just in an earthquake and I'm freaking out. My brain is in trauma. And if we can calm ourselves down, we can be present, we can be healthy, we can be strong, and we can be out there helping the people who need help more because we're prepared. And that's what I hope to bring the world.
Fabulous. That's fabulous. Thank you so much for sharing that. And on that note, do you have any final words of wisdom that you'd like to share with our audience?
No, I think that's good. You can visit me. If you want to learn more about my favorite oils and things, you can go to oils.learnlivefly.com. And you can read more about it there, or just go to Learn Live Fly. It's on my tag there, and there's links to all the other stuff. So you can find it. You can reach out. You can connect. If you're like, hey, I'm kind of curious, but I don't know, go on there, send me a message, or book a call, depending on if the calendar has an opening. If not, just send me an email, and we can talk, and we can say, okay, what is it you're dealing with? What is your history? What is your story? Ooh, that's the final thought that you need. Okay, so the difference between, we talked about the quality difference between doTERRA and with the health food store, but let's talk about like the practical difference. If you go to the dollar store and buy oils, please don't go to the dollar store and buy oils. If you do, they're probably added in chemicals and things, and you don't want to be inhaling them even if you diffuse them. But if you go somewhere and you buy an oil and you take it home and it's like, oh, this is good for viruses. Okay, I'm going to take this home. And then you go home and you're like, now what? What do I do with that? doTERRA is set up in a way that you have people like me who have been studying this, who know how to get the resources, how to connect you with the resources, and help you learn step by step by step. When you join doTERRA and when you join with me, there's tons of education that is built into that, where you can find the resources that you need. We'll help you get hooked up with books. We'll set you up with courses that are going to teach you, that are not going to cost you more once you get your oils. As well as communities of people where you're like, hey, I'm dealing with this. Anybody have experience with this? And you'll have like 20 people be like, oh, I tried this. This one worked for me. And then you'd be like, oh, okay, which one works for me? And the joy too, with our team, I'm really good at the mental, the mindset, the life coaching, the mind and emotion side of it. We have a lady on our team who is a aromatherapist and an herbalist, and we have one who is a mental health counselor, and how they use those things together. And so you have the support of all of us and the ability to say, okay, what do I do? And we can help point you to the resources. Not that you rely on us, but that you rely on you, and that we help you get to the point where you feel totally confident and self-sufficient to be able to use what you need for your family and to trust yourself to be able to make those decisions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Livia. And all right, so I encourage you guys to check her out, learn more about her. For our watchers, her information is scrolling at the bottom of your screen. And for our listeners, she said her website, learnlivefly.com. You could also find her on, she has a Facebook page, she has a Facebook group, she's on YouTube and LinkedIn. Yes. So
you can find all the links from the main website, minus the gift link. That one's separate. It's hidden. So only you guys get that if you have the link. So write that one down and then just go to Learn, Live, Fly and navigate through all the rest.
Yeah. Can you tell the people the gift link again?
Yeah. It's https://gifts, GIFTS.learnlivefly, LEARNLIVEFLY.com/EO for essential oils.
And what can you tell the gifts? What are the gifts, or is it a surprise?
It's a surprise. I will tell you can get the little guidebook to essential oils, and then there's a few other gifts on there. And I could tell you, but 100% I'm not sure what's on there because I keep changing. So it's a surprise. And if I find something else and I get an inspiration one day, I might add another one. So I'm not going to tell you because this will be evergreen. And so whatever's on there will be for you. And you can, okay, here's a side note. And hot topic for you. I hate it when they go to those things and they're like, you're on this website. You must watch 30-minute video and you cannot pause it and you cannot go back and you have to watch the whole thing to figure out what I'm telling you. And then you're going to click this link and then I'm going to try to sell you 5 more things. And I'm like, that kind of bothers me. Anyways, so when you go there, you can say, hey, here's this gift. This is gift number 1. I would like that. Thank you. Or no, thank you. I don't. And then we'll say, here's gift number 2. And you can say yes, or you can say no. There's no pressure. I love you anyway. So you choose what you want. If it benefits you, great. If it doesn't, pass it on, or feel free to share the link with your friends who you know can benefit from it.
Awesome. And there you go. So I encourage you guys, go to that link, gifts.learnlivefly.com/EO, and definitely check out your free gifts, you guys. All right. And can you talk briefly about the Shop Essential Oils and the Consecrated Life Project?
Oh, yes. So that link will take you directly to my doTERRA store where you can read about all the oils. It will talk to you about how to use them, why to use them. There's videos that talk about the sourcing of them, all of that. Oh, side note on doTERRA that I did not tell you. 2 of my absolute favorite doTERRA things. One is that they source from all over the world, but they don't just source from there. They actually build communities. So they have an entire charity arm called the Healing Hounds Foundation. You can read about all that on my website. But they build schools and hospitals and communities and provide clean water. And they're literally lifting people out of poverty. So when you buy a bottle of oil, it doesn't just bless you or doTERRA, but it blesses people all across the world who have been farming these plants for generations, and helps their kids go to school and get education and menstrual hygiene. And so girls don't get kicked out, and stay out of trafficking, and save kids from trafficking, and provide aftercare. And all of these things is part of what doTERRA does. And I love that. And that's the heart of it. And that's the heart of the people that we attract and we bring in, are the people who want to elevate the world on a level of everyone gets to thrive, not just me. And I love that. And then the Consecrated Life Project is my passion project. It's all about coming closer to Jesus Christ. So if you're faith-based and you're like, hey, I really want to strengthen my faith and understand how I can unite with God and have more miracles in my life, more peace, more grace, more joy. I interview people, it's kind of like we're doing right now, all around the world who are living that. And we talk about their journey of what was that like? And how did you learn to hear the Spirit of God? How did you learn to follow and listen? And how did you get to that point of letting go and of surrender and of saying, okay, I might not understand fully right now, but I feel like this is where I'm supposed to go, and I'm going to trust you. And then the miracles that unfold. It's a fun project.
Awesome. So you're definitely making an impact around the world, it sounds like.
Well, thank you. Not me, it's all him. I'm just the voice in the hands.
Of course. All right. So you guys heard all that. So I definitely encourage you guys to take advantage of that. And again, Livia is available for you. So I encourage you to reach out to her. Again, she is on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So definitely check her out. And again, please go to her website, learnlivefly.com. And of course, all of this information will be provided to you in the description. So for those of you watching this online, and even for those of you listening who are like, wait, what? I missed all of that. Don't worry. All of this information will be in the description. All right, so Livia, thank you so much for joining me today. This is awesome.
Thank you so much for having me. Everyone listening, just know that you are loved and you have everything you need in this moment to make the next right decision.
Awesome. All right, my dear, thank you so much. And it is just you and me, guys. All right. So we have reached the conclusion of our episode. I can't believe we're at the end. But yes, here we are. Thank you so much for joining today. So please check out our platforms for more videos and clips. And don't forget to follow us. Follow us, subscribe, like us, whatever the button is, press that button. press it now. And while you're at it, let us know what you thought about this episode by leaving a comment in the comment section below or in the comment thread. I, Gabrielle, would love to know your thoughts, so please leave a comment. And as a reminder, this web series is a production of A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. So if you would like to learn more about us, our company, our services, the things that we have to offer, if you're looking for tutoring services for your children or even for yourself, because we serve adults too, please visit us online. Our website is www.astepaheadtutoringservices.com. And we are all over social media as well. We are also on Facebook, YouTube, Eventbrite, WhatsApp, Instagram, Twitter. So we are all over that social media. So please check us out on our social media as well. And I do want to share that if you do reach out to us, we are giving a 15% discount off of 6 hours of tutoring. I'm going to repeat that again. If you reach out to us, we are giving out a 15% discount off of 6 hours of tutoring, but only if you say that you heard about us from Hot Topics. So say, hey, I heard about you from that Hot Topics, and we'll give you 15% off. So that should be an incentive for you to reach out to us. And I also want to encourage you to sign up for our email list and our texting list as well. Stay in touch with us and you'll get exclusive offers, discounts, and announcements. So I definitely encourage you to sign up for our email list and our texting list. All of that information, which will be provided to you in the description for our audio people and for our video people as well. All right, and before we close, I'm going to share this final message with you all.
Hey there, have you heard of us? We're a small team of tutors here at A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. We believe that education and information should be accessible to everyone, regardless of income, race, or creed. We're dedicated to making this happen, but we need your help. Please consider making a donation to our company. No amount is too small. Your donation will allow us tutors to remain employed, offer free and low-cost services, put on productions like this web series, and reach out to families nationwide. With your help, we can tackle the academic challenges of our students and the emotional, mental, and behavioral changes that result from these challenges. As a bonus, we can improve our communities in the process. Support us today. Note: we're a for-profit company. We're not a charity. Your donation may not be tax deductible. Please consult a tax professional.
Awesome. And for our listeners, I just want to share that you can send your donations to us via Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo to the tag ASATS2013, or you can send it via Zelle at success@astepaheadtutoringservices.com. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining, and I look forward to seeing you at the next episode. So now I am signing off. Bye.